Welcome everybody to round 3, the final round of February 26th Star Wars Unlimited Night over at Valkyrie Vault in Brownsburg, Indiana. If you guys are looking for a place to play some Star Wars Unlimited, check out Valkyrie Vault in Brownsburg, Indiana. Thursday nights, 6 p.m., $5 entry. As well as this is our last locals video in the Secrets of Power meta, and the last video where sets in the Premier format, sets 1, 2, and 3 are legal. So this is it, folks. This is the last video. After this, we will, of course, be looking at locals videos for A Lawless Time meta with the new Premier format of sets 4, 5, 6, and 7. So without further ado, I'm back again with my Thrawn Spark Yellow against Chewie Spark Yellow. So the whole gimmick of the Chewie deck is that action, tap him, you may play a unit that costs 3 or less and give Sentinel for the phase, and then the whole gimmick of the deck is you're just running a bunch of bodies to beat me down in the face. This is my only loss for the night. Thrawn went 2-1 for me. Throughout the entire event, I only lost out to this Chewie deck because I just wasn't able to get enough tempo to survive the long game state that Chewbacca has. But anyways, Chewbacca flips on 7 and he's a 3-9 on his backside with Grit and Sentinel. So yeah, he's pretty dangerous on his backside. But nonetheless, guys, let's see how exactly I lost this game, and then we will see why Chewie Yellow was the best deck of the night. Here we go for game number 1. Apologies, I'm on my phone right now texting stuff. So anyways, my opponent is going to be going first here. They're going to go along with a Chewbacca. Then I'm going to go for a Bazine. I'm going to show the hand here. They do have the Luke Skywalker, and they do have the Bo-Katan. So anyways, I'm just going to get rid of the Bo-Katan there. My opponent does get to draw 1. I'm going to draw 2 more cards here, just seeing what else we get there. It's unfortunate, once again, I do pull the combination where I do have the ability to go for, now there are 2 of them, but I cannot seem to find the 𝐒𝐓𝐾𝐄 that I need, the 𝐒𝐓𝐾𝐄 that is from LOF here. So anyways, we're going to have the Fugitive Wookiee swing in and kill the Bazine. The Fugitive Wookiee does have a bounty on it where it does, if it's killed, I can restand a resource here. So I'm just going to immediately be able to just go for the Guardian. We do check the top cards of our resources, but there's not anything else. And then we're going to go for Liberated Slaves here from that one. And then we're going to be able to draw 2 more cards here. I do, funny enough, have actually the combination now where I can go for, I do have the combination now where I can go for, now there are only 2 of them. I don't know why I actually technically did not decide to go for that combo, but it doesn't really matter. We're going to go for 4-LOM to kill off the Wookiee, and then we're going to be able to take 3 damage, and then we're going to be able to get the bounty there. Unfortunately, I decide not to take the bounty. Then we're going to do a Disciples Devotion, where if the unit's rested against Sentinel, so I'm just going to be able to immediately claim here because there's no real point of attacking the Liberated Slaves. So I'm just going to claim the initiative here, and then we're just going to pass from there, immediately drawing our next 2 cards here, and then figuring out what else we want to do here because the Chewie is coming up very fast to be able to come out here, especially with the Liberated Slaves. We're going to take a look at the top card of the deck, which makes no sense because I'm not going to burn the Thrawn trigger here on Liberated Slaves to immediately be able to hit. So I'm going to drop the 𝐒𝐓𝐾𝐄 effect here. I'm going to drop the 𝐒𝐓𝐾𝐄 off of that, all that, and then my opponent deciding on what my opponent wants to do here. Anyways, it's back to them as well, so they can decide on what they want to do here. So oh right, no, I forgot, apologies. So 4-LOM gives all 𝐒𝐓𝐾𝐄 ambush. So apologies. So I'm going to trigger the effect of 𝐒𝐓𝐾𝐄 to name the top card of my opponent's deck, and then I'm going to kill off the Liberated Slaves, and then my opponent's going to claim, and I'm going to swing 5 damage to the base. Apologies, that's what I was doing. So I was trying to figure out why I'm attacking, but I forgot. 4-LOM gives all 𝐒𝐓𝐾𝐄 ambush. So that's the thing about it. I got the ambush off of that 𝐒𝐓𝐾𝐄 trigger, and I decided to go for the name the top card because I mill it off, and then I'm immediately going to get hit with an Anakin here to immediately kill off that 𝐒𝐓𝐾𝐄 so I don't have to worry, just so it doesn't have to exist anymore. I do have the other 𝐒𝐓𝐾𝐄 as well, so we're going to go for the other 𝐒𝐓𝐾𝐄, and we're going to be able to kill off the Anakin Skywalker there, thanks to I get a +1/+1 for them 4-LOM, and then I'm going to swing a bunch. My opponent's just going to take initiative. I'm just going to then swing with a whole lot of things. Going to swing at the 4-LOM, the Guardian, and then the Mr. Thrawn himself, and then we're just going to pass immediately from there, and then not going to be too bad from this point. I do have a McClunky if I need to bounce something back to my hand as well. In this case, if we're going to figure out, again, they do have the Luke, they do have the Anakin. Again, none of those are really going to be dangerous to me. Anakin to give -3/-3 over to the 𝐒𝐓𝐾𝐄, immediately killing it off there. Kind of sucks because I had the I did have the 𝐂𝐄𝐄 in my hand here, so I'm just kind of figuring out what else I want to do here. We're going to go for the Hotshot Blaster, and then we're going to swing the Hotshot Blaster into there, and then I should actually put the top card, so I do catch myself there, that the top card of my deck needs to be in there. Now the Chewie is out. The Chewie is Sentinel. It's 3/9, so it's not really great to see that I have a Sentinel 3/9 Chewie on the battlefield now and all that, which means I don't have a great way to deal through besides going like Thrawn into it. Because again, he's a big booty. I was nearly there if I could get a little more, if I had a little more potential to swing a little more damage onto it, and all that. So we're gonna start figuring out what we're going to do. We're gonna go 𝐂𝐄𝐄 to do 3 damage to Chewie. It's not great here because again the Chewie automatically gets grit on it, so not exactly something I really wanted to see doing for myself here because of having that grit. But it does mean that if he decides to swing the Chewie into the Thrawn, they do trade each other. But if I swing the Thrawn into Chewie, we do trade. We trade out on the Chewie getting killed by the Thrawn here, but it's not great having to do the 𝐂𝐄𝐄 there to potentially kill off the Chewie. But so sometimes it's all you have to. Sometimes it's all you have to do to sometimes try to kill off. But I do have the 4-LOM as well. It's not great, but I also have the Cunning as well, as my opponent's kind of deciding if they want to swing the Chewie into base or swing where they want to do with the Chewie trigger. So they're just gonna claim here, and then we're gonna move on to the next round here. Not great really. Now that there's that Luke there to look to get the top cards of their deck to start healing here, and I really don't have a great way to deal with the Luke Skywalker. Again, the Chewie's not great either, considering that it swings for 5 damage. Again, the Thrawn does technically kill me here. So anyways, Luke's gonna hit Thrawn in the face for 6. He just kind of knows what I'm trying to do. He knows I was going to swing the Thrawn, kill off the Chewie there, and then I could have survived knocking out the Chewie 100%, but that's not really great here. Overall, again, overall, this is not really great in any capacity. I don't have a great way to get rid of this. I guess maybe my best choice was maybe go for Cunning, resting the Chewie, and then going for that. So anyways, we're just gonna knock out. I think that was a little excessive. I don't think I needed all that damage. He was at 3, I was at 5. Oh no, that's 8. Ooh, I was 1 short. Actually, I couldn't be able to kill off that Chewie. So just gonna have to go for the surprise strike to kill off the Chewie here, and then you can kind of see I really don't have much of a way. We're gonna go for Pike Chewie, and that's gonna kill the Gardenian off. Just hard casting Pike Chewie. All right, so yeah, 4-LOM can kill off the Luke Skywalker here. Again, I think the other Chewie has grit as well. Oh no, I decided not to do. I decided not to trigger his ambush skill. I just played him and I 𝐂𝐄𝐄'd him back to my hand just so that I can kill off the Luke Skywalker there. I'm not sure if that was really the right play to do there. I mean, maybe I should have just kept him and deal 4 damage. The problem now is that I have this Chewie and I don't have much ways, and I'm kind of running out of resources to kill him. The problem is now he's in his high cost stuff. I don't have a lot of high cost stuff in my deck, so I'm kind of banking on if the effect of Thrawn can even trigger here, is we're going to go for the Captain Rex. Captain Rex is going to give Chewie Sentinel for the phase, which still isn't great, which means I don't have a great way to deal with a Chewie. And again, I believe the Chewie has grit as well, so it's not great. Anyways, I'm going to go for the Greedo play here, see what my opponent wants to do. Again, Captain Rex is on attack. When played on attack, give one of your units and one of your opponent's units Sentinel for the phase. I'm just going to pitch out the top card of my deck being a Boba. I forgot to look at it, so it doesn't really matter. Not that I really wanted to care, but it would have been nice to hit the Captain Rex with it. With the damage from the Zuckuss, but with the Greedo here, but I just don't have a way to get through this. My opponent is now in their high game. They have Bo-Katan, they have Luke Skywalker, they have this Chewbacca, and again, I really just don't have great ways to deal with it. I'm just going to play the Zuckuss, the 4-LOM without anything. The problem is my opponent just claims here, and then they just swing the Captain Rex first, and then give him 4-LOM and Chewie Sentinel, meaning that I don't have a great way to deal with them. We're just going to put the blaster away, and like I said, there's just nothing I could do in this game state. It's not great because, again, I guess in that case, Captain Rex could give himself Sentinel, but the problem is I really need to go after the Chewie and all that, so it's not really great. And in this case, I'm just losing out. There's just too many big bodies to get through now, and the Chewie's already got a +3 onto that grit as well. So Captain Rex is going to swing 7 damage to base, and then my 4-LOM is going to get Sentinel, and then I believe he's going to give Chewie the Sentinel, meaning that we'd have to trade between each other here. I mean, then we're not in a great situation. I mean, there's really no way for me to get rid of the Chewie besides burning Cunning here to then rest the Chewie and then give +4 the 4-LOM, which in this case would just basically do nothing else. I do know he has a Bo-Katan in his hand, which isn't great either because that's going to give him a -3. So in essence, the 4-LOM can't even do anything to the Chewie here. My only thing would be to take the initiative and then be able to use the cunning to immediately be able to rest down both the Chewbacca and all that. So anyways, we're going to go for cunning, and I'm going to give him the 4+4, and then I'm going to have my opponent pitch a card because, again, I am already had the Sentinel, so there's no point anything. So maybe, in all honesty, I probably should have just claimed the initiative here and then just waited for the next turn and then gone for cunning there. And then I could have been able to potentially do 2 cunnings, all that. So yeah, it sucks. I mean, there's not much I can do here in this point. So I'm just going to go for the Bazine here and then be able to look at my opponent's hand. We're going to get rid of the Ray, and then my opponent's going to draw 1 here. But yeah, I mean, there's not much else I can do. I'm honestly really thinking about it. I think I really messed up this turn. Now I'm thinking about it. I think, honestly, I should have waited to go for... I should have taken the initiative, then waited, then gone for... Cunning to rest both Chewie and Captain Rex here. As we do a start path on the Chewie, we're going to kill off the 4-LOM here because we do have Sentinel. The problem, I guess, it doesn't really matter. The 4-LOM dies either way, so we're going to give a +1 to Captain Rex because of the effect of Bo-Katan. Whenever a unit dies, you give a experience token to a unit here, and really there's nothing else I could really do. I mean, I'm just right now up a creek with no paddle. There's really no way because, again, Captain Rex can swing. You can give Sentinel to Chewie and give Sentinel to that. So anyways, we're going to just rest both Captain Rex and the Chewie. There's not even great because Bo-Katan's up, so we're just going to rest those 2, and we're going to give the +4 to Bazine here. Allowing me to swing for 5, which is pretty nice, I guess, overall. But yeah, there's really much else I can really do. I mean, really in this game state, I had to actually hit faster and hit harder. So anyways, we're going to go for Yaddle utilizing Chewie's effect to give it, and I'm going to put down the Zuckuss here. And again, the Yaddle now has a Sentinel as well, so there's just nothing I can really do in this game state. Unfortunate, but I mean, I can really just claim, and that's be about it. Wasting the trigger off of Bazine, but I guess I could swing Bazine and kill off Chewie because he has 6. I have 5, so that would kill off the Chewie here. No, I can't kill off the Chewie because of the Yaddle trigger. Yeah, it kind of just sucks that he had a 3-cost guy that he could bring down, but nothing else I can really do about it. I mean, not much really I can do about it. My one struggle in this matchup definitely was my opponent's high-cost guys. So we are just going to swing over the Zuckuss, killing those both, and then mainly being able to create 2 spy tokens because naming a card in hand, and then we're just going to go for another Chewie, and I'm just going to do that one's then we're just going to immediately kill off the Bazine here, and then yeah, there's not much else we can really do. 2 tokens onto the Captain Rex. I don't know why I'm just not scooping up the game. I just scoop it up from there. Yeah, there's nothing I can do with this game state. My opponent has too many big bodies, and they're just now dropping, and I really don't have a way to deal with those big bodies at all. So game 1 goes to Chewie Spark Yellow. Let's go into game number 2. Here we go, folks, for game number 2. My hand, I probably should have mulliganed it. So anyways, I'm going to go Gardenian, and Gardenian, I'm just going to name a card here and see if I can rip out something from my opponent's hand here, Captain Rex. Then we're going to go for, of course, a Liberated Wookiee coming down here. Again, maybe I should have done the Aura Sing. That probably would have been the better one to start the damage threshold here. Overall, instead of going Gardenian, but I was just trying to maybe gamble to maybe see if I could get out something. Maybe I don't know what I named, but I could have named like Captain Rex or anything like that. I'm not exactly sure why I decided on that one to go the Gardenian instead. Maybe going Aura Sing here. I could have had Aura Sing's ability because in this case I could have done Thrawn to rest the Wookiee and then swung 3 damage at the base with the Aura Sing. I'm going to reveal the top card of my opponent's deck here, and then we're going to be able to rest the Wookiee, and then my opponent's going to bring out the Liberated Slaves. I'm going to go for the Aura Sing trigger. In this case, I could have killed off the Liberated Wookiees as well, which would have been pretty nice here. Unfortunately, I do draw into, now there are 2 of them, which of course doesn't work here because I have more than 1 unit on the ground state here. My opponent did take the initiative here, so it means I'm out, which would have been pretty nice with, of course, the cunning and all that. So anyways, we're going to just take the look at the top cards of each of our decks here. Nothing really great here. I'm already feel like I'm up a hill right now. We're going to go for the Liberated Wookiee, going to kill off the Gardenian, and then we're going to be able to then go for the cunning, bouncing back the Liberated Slaves, giving Aura Sing +4, and then we're going to drop the Liberated Slaves, and then we're going to kill them off with the Aura Sing here, immediately taking 3 damage back, and then we're just going to pass from there. My opponent taking the initiative here, and this is not going great in any capacity right now. I am basically getting screwed over right now by my deck. I'm not finding anything, no Zuckuss, no 𝐿oLoms, nothing to help me in this game state, and we are getting ever closer to my opponent being able to drop his big bombs and be able to kill me. So anyways, the Wookiee's going to kill the Aura Sing here, and then we'll be able to go for Bodhi Rock to look at my opponent's hand, and I can discard a non-unit card from it. And then I see exactly what I have there. I have 2 Captain Rex, 1 Rey, and 1 Pike Sentinel Chewie, which isn't great here. We're going to go for the Rey drop, which again can heal a unit. If it heals a non-heroic unit, you can get that unit as shield. So yeah, this is not going well at all now with that Rey on the board state. And I think that's one problem I have with this when I was playing this deck is the fact is that my opponent over here is dropping big bodies, and I don't have great ways to deal with big bodies. Big bodies do big body things, and we're going to kill the Liberated Wookiee. I'm going to take 3 back, and then we're going to be able to gain back the bounty there, and then take 3 damage, and then make sure the Rey can't trigger. The Rey is then going to swing. Apologies, I don't know why the Rey is rested. Oh no, right, the Liberated Wookiee doesn't restand resources, it rests a unit on the board state. We're going to go Captain Rex. The problem is Captain Rex also gets his Sentinel Wind played here. Just kind of figuring out what I really want to do here. If I'm just going to claim the initiative here, because again, I really don't have a great way to do anything, because I'd have to throw a bunch of guys into Captain Rex, but I think maybe that's the best play to do, is just throw a bunch of things into Captain Rex. I'm just going to I think I claimed the initiative here. Can't actually remember if I did. I didn't flip my token. But honestly, maybe I should have actually done it that pathway here. We're going to take a look at the top cards of our deck here. I think my opponent actually took the initiative because they played the Captain Rex, and I flipped the Thrawn here. So maybe I should have killed the Captain Rex, just gone after it altogether. So just taking a look at everything I have. So anyways, we're going to have Captain Rex swing in. We're going to kill off the 𝐿oLom, and then we're going to be able to give someone a Sentinel for the phase here. So I'm not sure why, if the 𝐿oLom has been killed off here, why exactly we haven't taken 4 damage to 4 damage over to okay, there we go. So we finally took the damage. I guess the problem now is, what do I want to do here in this game state altogether? I could drop the Cad Bane and capture whatever he gave his enemy Sentinel to, so it could be Captain Rex, it could be Rey. I think in this case it's important to grab the Rey off. So we're just going to swing the Bodhi Rock, killing off the Rex here, so just so we can remove them both off the board here. And then we're going to go flipping up the Chew Man. It's Chewie, everybody. And then Chewie's going to be able to bring out the Vigil, which isn't great. So this is how I actually lose it, because of the Vigil in space. My space frontier is not great, so I'm going to grab the Rey from that. So what Vigil does is my opponent takes 1 less damage for every attack that they swing at. Vigil itself takes 1 extra damage if it's swung at. So the Vigil takes 1 extra damage. My opponent's units take 1 less damage, so which isn't great. The fact of the matter that they take 1 less damage. So anyways, I'm going to take 3 damage here. They take 6 because of the effect of Cad Bane. Thanks to the effect of the Vigil, I'm going to just claim the initiative here. We're going to be able to claim a couple more cards. The problem, though, is that Chewie is now extremely dangerous. And thanks to the fact that I don't really have a great way to deal with the Vigil at all is what's going to kill me here. I just do not have a great way to deal with that Vigil. Again, I am very limited in space. The most space I have is the Stolen AT Holler and the that. So anyways, I'm going to deal 3 damage to my opponent there. That is going to be able to kill the Chewie, because again, at least I can do it. But here comes Pike Sentinel Chewie. That's immediately going to be able to kill the Cad Bane and be able to play the Rey thanks to the effect of these Pike Sentinel Chewie. I'm going to take a look at my opponent's hand there and get rid of the Bo-Katan. Maybe I should have got, but I guess it doesn't really matter either way, because even if I got rid of the Bo-Katan or the Rex, then I can name Captain Rex and be able to niche that out as well. So I was able to get rid of both of them as well. And then 3 damage, my opponent's basically the first damage I've actually dealt. The first damage we both dealt this game. We're now in like the late game stage, and we finally punched each other for some form of damage. The Vigil punched me for 5, and I punched him for 3. But the problem now is that neither Thrawn's spec doesn't trigger at all. There's no, unless I see my opponent have a high cost card on the top of their deck of either an 8 or anything like that, or an 8 to rest the Chewie or 8 to rest the Vigil here. So anyways, Chewie's going to kill the Bazine. The Bazine's going to deal no damage back because Pike Chewie, thanks to the Vigil there, doesn't take 1 less damage. We're going to swing 5 at my opponent's base. And again, we didn't take a look at the top cards of our deck, but again, unless my opponent has a 5, a 6, or something like that to rest the Rey, there isn't much I can do here. Again, thanks to the Vigil, reducing damage by 1 here. There's not really much else I could do. I swing 5 damage my opponent's base, but again, now they're going to drop their bombs. They're going to drop their Lukes. They're going to drop their Bo-Katans. They're going to drop everything else that they need to drop. They can go Devotion onto the rested, even on a rested Pike Chewie, and make him even worse thanks to his grit. So they're going to go for Electro Staff under Under that, I'm just kind of figuring out what else I really want to do. So anyways, I'm going to drag out another Bazine here, and then I'm just going to take a look at the hand here. I can get rid of the Devotion, but it's really about it, because I mean, getting rid of 1 Devotion isn't great, especially when they have 2, and then they go all into an Axe Wolves. Okay, yeah, everything's going bad here. As we now have another Electro Staff under the Ray, meaning that now it's getting worse. I'm going to just drop the Greedo. I mean, I'm massing bodies. My opponent's just massing 1 giant body because of the Electro Staff, and then I'm going to go to the Star Path there to name cards out of my hand, and then they get to name a card on my hand. And they create a spy token for each card that's named in my hand there. They're going to swing a whole bunch and then be able to basically take 4 damage from Thrawn there. Then it's a surprise strike in hand from the Star Path here. So the Ray is going to take 4 damage here. So yeah, I'm just going to get killed off there with the Thrawn there. They're going to take 4 damage from, of course, the Vigil being in the sky over there. And then that is all they wrote. I mean, folks, there's just no way I'm walking out of this win. Yeah, this is like my only loss for the night. It's all because there goes the Devotion under the Chewie. Yeah, there's no way for me to walk out of this one. I mean, that Ray is just huge. There's really no way for me to out the Ray or any way to deal with it. Again, unless my opponent has a 6 on the top of their deck that I get lucky, because I'd have to see one of my 6s to see, which is, of course, Zuck's Spy or anything. So we're going to go for the Cunning, which thank goodness we could just rest both the Chewie and the Ray here. And then be able to deal with that and get +4. So looks like we're just going to rest the Vigil and we're going to rest the Ray here. I think maybe I should have rested the Chewie if I'm being a little honest. But no, I didn't want to rest the Chewie because of Devotion and all that. Because the fact is Devotion would give him Sentinel, which means that I'm even worse off. Anyways, we're going to swing. We're going to kill off. No damage from the Bazine here. But again, there's just no way for me to get through that Chewie on that 10 on the health points of Devotion. I think Devotion gives a +3 on health as well. So, I mean, there's not anything I can really do against that Chewie at all. So, yeah, I mean, Cunning's not great here either. Maybe I should have swung. I don't know. I mean, like I said, there's really no way I was getting out of this one. As soon as my opponent on the Chewie side just started dropping all the big bodies, there's just like no way for me to out any of those big bodies. So anyways, I'm just going to go for the Zuckuss play here. Deciding I'm playing down the Zuckuss here for the 6/6 with Saboteur. But again, here comes the Luke Skywalker killing the Greedo. Again, I should have swung the Greedo in and then swung it. But again, not really much of a point of doing anything. I could. The Greedo effect only hits ground, so there's really not much else I can do. The problem is Greedo's damage also doesn't matter here as well, so we're just going to go for a Star Path under the Vigil, and just making sure it can attach to vehicles. Doesn't say anything, and then yeah, I'm just dead. There's literally no way for me to win this game out at all. I mean, I have so little left in my hand that can do anything, and there's literally nothing I can do. I'm literally just joking that I don't have a way to outstank these big bodies. They're just too big on me. Once they're established under the board state, they're just there. I mean, the only way I could have won this one is if I had to been hyper aggressive and actually beat my opponent before they got to the high cost level of their cards and being able to drag them all out on the battlefield. But in this case, that's not what happened. Not mentioning that I just have so little space. There's no way for me to deal with anything. So we're just going to go for the Zuckuss to deal swing. To swing, I'm going to knock out the Ray here, just being able to kill off at least one body. But again, I take 5 damage, but lucky enough the Ray does die here. We're going to deal 6 over the Gardenian, taking no damage. I'm going to just drop the Zuckuss here, and then basically I'm just done. There's nothing I can do. I can't deal with the Vigil in the sky. We're going to swing 4 damage into Chewie here. Actually 5 damage because of Devotion, and then where the Vigil is going to swing 6, and my opponent does get to say something. It is a McClunky. I could McClunky back and deal 4 damage over to the Vigil, but that's really not going to help as we go for a Wookiee Warrior and then Axe Wolves, and then basically put a shield on it. And I think we really know what's coming next as I finally draw into a space unit, my AT Hauler, but even that wouldn't matter because the AT Hauler would have died to the Vigil. The Vigil having 5 attack, 9 health isn't great, even though the technically the Vigil has all that. So yeah, not that much I can really do here. There's not anything I really have. So, I mean, I'm basically just dead here. There's too many bodies on the ground and all that. So I'm just going to swing. I'm going to name a card, and then I'm just going to be able to deal my 8 damage points, and that'd be it, pretty much. So nothing else to really do here. So, I mean, yeah, Pike Chewie can deal a whole bunch of damage to my base, and then, yeah, I mean, there's nothing else. I'm just going to scoop it up from there. But yeah, the whole reason I couldn't win this one, the Chewie deck was able to slam out enough giant bodies to kill me off when I wasn't able to get hyper aggressive enough to deal damage. My hope for in this matchup, it was to have gotten, now there are 2 of them, and then the 5-drop Zuckuss, the double yellow 5-drop Zuckuss from LOF, and then drop that and then start hitting fast and hard on my opponent's deck. My opponent's milling the top cards of their deck and hitting their base hard and fast. That's the only way I could have actually won this game, is through that Zuckuss, and then comboing it with surprise strikes and hotshot blasters to ensure I'm dealing a whole lot of damage very fast, very quick. That's the only way I could have seen the outcome of this going, but unfortunately I never got that combination to go off. But nonetheless, guys, you let me know your thoughts down in the comments on both of these decks. I know these both are now in Eternal, but let me know if I've inspired you to try out both these decks in Eternal, or just give them a look over in Eternal. And while you guys are commenting, do make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you can notify when my videos go live for you. And we'll see you here next time on Mom Dragon's TCG.